Hospital denied my PTO for my sister's wedding due to staffing shortages, but approved a manager's 3-week vacation. I worked at that hospital for 4 years. The day they denied my PTO, I found out why in one line from my manager. You'll know why I almost quit on the spot and why one text changed my mind. I still remember the email when I asked for just 3 days off 6 months in advance. For my sister's wedding, I was going to be her maid of honor. They said no, staffing shortages, they wrote. But I found out my assistant manager got 3 weeks off for a cruise, approved instantly, no questions. I felt my hands shake when I read that email. I work at Riverside Memorial Hospital in Ohio and gave that place 4 years of my life. Blood, sweat, and so many overtime shifts I lost count. My manager, a woman I'll call Denise, looked me in the eye and said, "You're a hero. You don't need a break like that." I wanted to scream because I felt so small in that moment. You know, feeling when you give everything and get nothing back? That was me. And I kept asking myself why I stayed so long. I trusted this place with my whole heart, and I trusted Denise. I trusted the system, but the system never trusted me back. I saw my coworkers get the same treatment too. We whispered about it in the break room and all felt disposable. I remember one nurse, I'll call her Maria, telling me, "They only see us as numbers, not people." I couldn't shake it, and I started wondering if I was the problem or asking for too much. Just 3 days. For my own sister, for one of the biggest days of her life. I felt guilty for even wanting that, but deep down, I knew I deserved it. You'd feel the same way too. I kept replaying Denise's words in my head. "You're a hero." I used to love hearing that, but now it just felt like a leash. A pretty word to keep me quiet and keep me working double shifts without complaint. Leave a comment and like this video. Subscribe. After the truth started to bother me, I knew I'd to speak. I'm Kimberly, and I was a hospital floor nurse for 4 years. I worked there through long nights, hard days, and many extra shifts. I cared for patients, helped my team, and kept the floor moving when things got wild. I want you to hear my side because I have the details. I'm not here to make a big show. I have my notes, my memories, and my own eyes. You can judge me after you hear my story. I just want you to know what I saw and what I felt. When I first started, I loved the job. I was proud to wear the badge on my chest. The badge felt like a sign that I was part of something good. I liked the team, and I liked the mission. I felt like the work mattered. I helped people on the worst days of their lives, and I felt lucky. The paycheck helped my life too. I could pay my bills, help my family, and feel safe. I remember the first training video I watched. The message was simple because the hospital said we were a family. I believed that. I trusted the people around me, the rules, and the leaders. My coworker Jake always said the same thing. He said we were lucky to have a team like this. You know, I really wanted to believe that. I gave the hospital my best. I gave my time, my energy, and my heart. I learned the systems. I saved files in the shared drive. I kept my work clean. I followed the steps. I did what the job asked me to do. The first years were good. I smiled when I walked through the doors and felt proud when I helped someone heal. I told my friends, you can find meaning in this work. I thought the hospital saw my value and the team saw my effort. I thought I'd found my place. But later, the same place that made me feel proud started to feel different. I didn't see it all at once and only felt small signs. I kept them in my mind while asking myself why I felt this way. I knew something had changed. It was a quiet Tuesday morning when I saw the first crack in the wall. I was Kimberly, and I thought I knew my hospital well. I had my coffee, my notes, and my normal plan for the day. I told myself I was just having a hard week. You know how you feel when you notice small things but you try to ignore them? I felt that. I saw the little rules change around me and the way the team got less support. I heard the same words from the leaders. The hospital said the staff was family, but I started to see the gaps. I didn't want to judge the place. I wanted to trust the job, my team, and the people around me. But I kept asking myself why the small signs felt so heavy. You can imagine how I felt. You can feel that strange moment when you know something's off. You can see the cracks, even when you don't want to see them. The next week, I had my first clear warning. I was at the nurse station when my manager Denise walked by. I had a simple question about the schedule. I said, "Denise, can I ask about my hours next month? I need to plan my sister's wedding days." She looked at me and said, "Kimberly, you need to stay flexible. The floor comes first. Personal plans come after the team." I remember those words because I knew they weren't normal. I wanted to believe the instruction was just about one busy week. You'd think it was a small thing, right? But I felt the message. I felt the pressure. I saw my coworkers hear the same idea. You give the hospital your time, you give the hospital your energy, and you hope the hospital gives you care back. I kept working, smiling, and telling myself I could handle it, and you may have seen moments like this too. You may know how one small rule can start a bigger change. I saw my own thoughts change, and I felt my own doubts grow. You could hear my voice, you could feel my worry, and you could understand my fear. I knew my heart was still trying, and I knew you might ask why I stayed. I didn't know it then, but my trust was slowly wearing away. I saw the second crack the very next week, and I still feel sick about it. I found a chart with a number that got changed. I checked it twice because I didn't want to believe my own eyes. I knew that number the day before, and now it looks so different. I asked myself, who'd touch a patient's chart like that? I felt my stomach drop when I saw Denise's initials next to it. I wanted to speak up, but my voice froze in my throat. I saw my coworker Jake standing near the desk, and I asked him if he saw it too. He said, "Kimberly, don't ask questions you don't want the answer to." I felt my hands go cold. I knew this wasn't a mistake anymore. This was a choice someone made on purpose. I remembered a complaint I filed weeks before about short staffing on my floor. I never heard back. I asked HR twice and they told me it was under review. I know now it just vanished into thin air. I saw a coworker named Priya take the blame for a supply mix-up that wasn't her fault. I heard Denise tell the whole team, Priya needs to be more careful. I knew the truth, but I stayed quiet. I felt so ashamed of my own silence. You know heavy feeling in your chest when you know something's wrong? I carried that feeling home every single night. I couldn't sleep, and I couldn't stop thinking about Priya's face when she got blamed. I kept telling myself I'd speak up next time, but next time never came. I saw the pattern now, and I couldn't unsee it. The hospital protected itself, not its people. I trusted this place with everything and I watched that trust crack a little more each day. Have you ever sat in a meeting where everyone was lying and no one was going to say it out loud? You feel the tension in the room, and you know the truth sits right there. But you stay quiet because you're scared or you think it's not your place. I felt that fear every single day at work, and I bet you felt it too. I opened my laptop that morning and I felt my hands go still. I saw an email in my inbox, but it wasn't meant for me. The subject line said, "Staffing numbers, don't share." I knew I shouldn't click it, but I clicked it anyway. I read the words twice because I couldn't believe my own eyes. I saw a plan to cut my floor staff for months while telling us we were fully staffed. I felt my chest go tight. I checked the sender and I saw it came straight from Denise's boss. I knew this wasn't a mistake anymore. I sat there and I stared at my screen for a long time. The next day, I walked past Denise's office and I saw her door open wide. Her computer screen still glowed in the empty room. I saw a shared folder icon, unlocked, right there on her desktop. I felt my feet stop walking on their own. The hallway lights buzzed above my head. I heard the soft hum of the vending machine down the hall. I smelled stale coffee from the break room nearby. My badge felt heavy on my chest, like it weighed 100 pounds. I saw dust on the window blinds, and I saw old sticky notes curling on the wall. I heard my own heartbeat in my ears. The clock on the wall ticked so loud that I could count every second. I saw a spreadsheet still open on her screen, numbers glowing in tiny rows. I didn't touch anything. I just stood there, and I let my eyes take it all in. My hands felt cold, even though the room felt warm. I heard footsteps somewhere far off, and I froze completely still. I smelled hand sanitizer from the wall dispenser next to me. I saw my own reflection in the dark hallway window. I felt my throat go dry as I read one more line on that screen. I didn't know it yet, but that spreadsheet was about to end the lie the hospital had told us for years, and I was the only one who saw it first. I stare at my screen, and I don't move. My hands feel cold, even though the room feels warm. I read the line 5 more times, and my eyes won't stop shaking. The words and numbers don't change. I see the truth right there, and I can't look away from it. My heart pounds so hard I can hear it in my own ears. I feel my throat go tight. I want to breathe, but the air won't come in right. I look at Denise's screen, and I look at my own hands, and I can't believe this is really happening to me. I always thought I'd feel relief when I found the truth. But I don't feel relief. I feel sick and small. I feel like the floor under my feet just dropped away. I whisper to myself, "This is real." I say it again to hear my own voice out loud because my mind won't accept it. I gave this place 4 years of my life, and now I see why my sister's wedding meant nothing to them. I see why my 3 days got denied. I see it all now, laid out in cold, ugly numbers. My phone feels heavy in my pocket. I pull it out with shaking hands. I take a photo of the screen first, fast, before anyone walks by. I take another one just to be safe. I email the photo to myself, my hands still trembling on the keys. I don't trust my own memory right now. I need proof, something I can hold on to later when my mind tries to tell me this didn't happen. I close the laptop gently, like it might wake someone up. I walk back down the hallway, and my legs feel strange under me. I keep my badge close to my chest and my head down. I pass Jake at the nurse station, and I say nothing. I can't say anything yet. I sit in my car after my shift, breathe, and look at the photo on my phone one more time. I know my life at this hospital just changed forever. I don't know what I'll do yet, but I know I can't unsee this now. I sit in my car, and I stare at that resignation letter I haven't sent. My hands shake on the wheel. Do I risk everything I've built here? I ask myself that question again and again. I gave this hospital 4 years of my life, 4 years of my heart, and now I hold proof of a lie in my own phone. I feel so scared, and I feel so alone right now. You know? Feeling when you know something huge, something so big you can't even say it out loud? Have you ever known a secret so heavy you were scared to whisper it to your own husband or wife? I couldn't tell my husband that night. I just sat on the edge of the bed and I said nothing. I looked at her face and I wanted to speak, but the words wouldn't come out of me. I kept thinking about Priya and I kept thinking about Maria. I kept thinking about every nurse who trusted this place with everything they'd. I held their trust in my hands now, and I felt the weight of it crush my chest. I asked myself, who am I to carry this? I'm just Kimberly. I'm just one nurse on one floor. But I knew the truth now, and I couldn't unknow it. I felt sick every time I closed my eyes. I saw those numbers glowing on the screen. I saw Denise's initials next to that changed chart. I saw the email that said, "Don't share." I carried all it alone, and the silence ate at me every single night. I want you to understand something. What I found didn't just cost one manager her job. It brought federal investigators to the front door of this hospital. I didn't know yet, sitting in my car that night. I just knew my hands were shaking and my heart was racing and I had a choice to make. I could stay quiet, keep my paycheck, and protect my own life. Or I could speak the truth and lose everything I'd built here. I sat there for almost an hour and I didn't start the car. I just breathed and I stared at that letter and I asked myself one more time, do I risk everything for this? I sit in my car and I know I have to make a call. I call my friend Sam. Sam's a lawyer and I trust him with my life. I say, Sam, I found something big and I don't know what to do. My voice shakes so much I barely know it's me talking. I tell him about the email, the chart, and the initials I saw next to the changed numbers. I hear him go quiet on the phone and that quiet scares me more than words. Sam finally says, Kimberly, you didn't create this problem, you just found it. I feel my chest tighten when I hear that line. I write it down on my hand right there in the car because I don't want to forget it. I ask him, but what if I lose my job? What if I lose everything? He says, what if you stay quiet and someone gets hurt because of it? I feel my throat close up. I know he's right, and I hate that he's right. I ask him one more question, Sam, if I do this, is there any way back? He says, no, but there's a way forward. I sit with that line for a long time. I feel my hand stop shaking just a little. I look at my phone and I look at the photo of that spreadsheet one more time. I think about my sister, her wedding day, and the day they told me no. I think about Priya and I think about Maria. I think about every nurse who gave this place their whole heart and got nothing back. I feel something shift inside my chest, like a lock breaking open. I say out loud, just to myself, I'm done protecting them. I say it again, louder this time, and feel my own voice change. I don't feel scared anymore, but I feel something new, something sharp and clear. I start the car. I don't drive home. I drive straight to Sam's office, and I bring my phone, my proof, and my whole shaking heart with me. I know my life is about to change, and I know there's no going back now. I sit at Sam's office, and I finally do it. I back up every file I copy the photo, the email, and the chart onto a small USB drive. My hands still shake, but I feel steady in my mind now. I put the USB drive in a locked cabinet at Sam's office, safe from Denise's reach. I print every page too, just in case my phone breaks or gets lost. I put that printed folder in my car trunk, hidden under an old blanket. I call a lawyer, and I trust him with my whole story. I contact a journalist too, a woman named Rachel who covers local news. I tell her I have something big, something real. My voice still shakes, but my words come out clear now. I file the report with the state health board, and I feel my heart pound with every word I type. I read the form twice before I click submit. I know once I send it, I can't take it back. I stare at my screen for a long moment and I breathe. I think about Priya, and I think about every nurse who trusted this place. I think about my sister's wedding and the day they told me no. I click submit and I feel my whole body go still. I feel scared, but I also feel something new inside my chest. I feel proud of myself for the first time in months. I did something small, but it felt so huge to me. I locked my proof away safe and I made my voice heard. I didn't wait for someone else to fix this mess. I stood up and I did the right thing myself. Have you ever done something small just to prove to yourself you could still do the right thing? I sit in my car outside Sam's office and I just breathe for a minute. I look at my hands and I don't see them shaking anymore. I know this is only the beginning of something much bigger. I know Denise doesn't know what I've done yet. I know the hospital doesn't know either. I feel calm even though my whole world is about to shift. I drive home slow that night and I watch the streetlights pass by one by one. I think about my husband and I think about telling her everything soon. I know my life will never look the same again after this. After the truth hit me, I knew I couldn't walk away like nothing happened. I was Kimberly and I felt the weight of my choice. I had my proof, my fear, and my hope all sitting with me. I knew you might ask what I did next and wonder how I kept going. I want you to feel my moment because I felt everything. I walked into Sam's office and I told him I needed help. I showed him the files I'd saved, I showed him the email, the chart, and the numbers that didn't match. I watched his face change, and I knew the problem was bigger than I thought. I expected stress, but I didn't expect the next call. My phone rang the next morning. I looked at the screen and my heart stopped. It wasn't Denise. It wasn't HR. It was a lawyer from the hospital. I felt my hands get cold again. The lawyer said my name, and I knew the hospital somehow knew I was asking questions. I didn't know how they found out or who talked, and I wanted to panic and throw my phone away. But I remembered what Sam told me and my reason. I remembered Priya, Maria, and every nurse who felt small. I told myself, I'm not going back into the dark. You know feeling when the door you open suddenly feels too big? I felt that. You feel scared and unsure because you see the road ahead and know the old life is gone? I felt that fear, but I also felt my courage growing. Then something happened that I never expected. Jake came to my car after my shift. He looked around the parking lot and whispered that he needed to talk. I saw the worry in his eyes and knew he was scared too. He told me he'd seen problems for months, but he was afraid to speak. I listened to him and I felt less alone. I knew my fight wasn't only my fight anymore. You could imagine what that meant to me. I felt the first small sign that I wasn't standing by myself. But the hospital lawyer's call stayed in my mind. I knew the pressure was coming and that the next days would test me. I knew I'd to stay calm, stay smart, and protect my truth. I looked at my notes again, held my phone tight, and took one deep breath, scared but ready. I sat with Sam, and I knew this was the moment. I felt my heart racing, but my mind stayed clear. I told Sam, I want to file this. I want to send everything. I said it, and I didn't shake this time. You know feeling when your voice finally sounds like you again. And I felt that. I felt my own strength come back to me. I gathered every file I gathered the photo, the email, and the chart with Denise's initials. I put my hands on the folder, and I felt the weight of 4 years in that stack of paper. I looked at Sam and I said, "Let's do this the right way." He nodded, and I felt calm settle in my chest before I called the state board first. I gave my name, my badge number, and my full story. I didn't leave anything out. I told them about the staffing lie, the changed chart, and the email that said, "Don't share." My voice stayed steady the whole time. I felt proud of that steadiness. Then I sent the documents to Rachel, the journalist. I typed my message slow, and I read it twice before I hit send. I wrote, "I've proof. I want the truth out." I felt my thumb hover over the button. I closed my eyes, pressed it, and went on record with my full name. I didn't hide behind a fake name or a blurred face. I wanted my patients, my coworkers, and my own conscience to know I stood behind every word. I felt scared, but free too, and mix of fear and relief at the same time. I felt both, right in my chest. I sat back in my chair and I let out a long breath. I thought about my sister's wedding, and I thought about the day they told me no. I thought about Priya, and I thought about Maria, and I thought about every nurse who trusted this place with their whole heart. I looked at Sam, and I said the words out loud. I wasn't trying to burn the place down. I was just done pretending I hadn't seen what I'd seen. I meant every single word. I felt my hands finally stop shaking. I knew there was no going back now, and for the first time, I didn't want to go back. I stand outside the courtroom, and I feel my legs go weak. I see reporters with cameras, and I hear my own name in the crowd. I hold my folder close to my chest, and I breathe slow. I think about my sister, and I think about that denied PTO request. I know I'm here for her too. I walk into the deposition room, and I see Denise sitting across the table. I look at her, and I don't feel scared anymore. I feel steady. The lawyer asks me, "Ms. Kimberly, tell us what you saw." I open my folder and I lay out every piece of proof I've got. I show the email, the chart, and the numbers that never matched. I answer every question they throw at me, and my voice doesn't shake this time. I say, "I saw the staffing lie with my own eyes." I say, "I saw Denise's initials on that changed chart." I watch her face go pale. I feel no joy in that moment, just relief that the truth finally has a voice. Weeks later, I sit on a Zoom call with federal investigators. I see their faces on my screen, serious and focused. They ask me to walk through the timeline again. I do it slow, and I don't leave anything out. I tell them about Priya, and I tell them about Maria. I tell them about every nurse who trusted this place with their whole heart. I've changed so much since I left that hospital. I don't flinch when my phone rings anymore. I sleep through the night now, and I don't carry that heavy feeling in my chest. I look at my hands, and I don't see them shaking. I feel like myself again, the Kimberly I was before the fear took over. I hear the investigator say, "Your testimony matches the internal records we pulled." I feel my chest loosen for the first time in months. I know my proof and my voice mattered. I think about that USB drive still locked in Sam's cabinet, and I know it changed everything. I walk out of that Zoom call, and I sit in my kitchen alone. I look around my quiet house, and I feel proud of who I'd become. I gave that hospital 4 years of my life, but I gave myself something bigger the day I spoke the truth. I know this fight isn't over yet, but I know I'm not the same scared nurse anymore. I stand in the parking lot, and I feel my phone buzz in my hand. I don't know it yet, but this text will change my whole night. I open it slow, and I see, "I have something you need to see." I feel my stomach drop, but I still don't know what's coming. I walk back inside, and I see Denise laughing near the nurse station. She doesn't know what I found or what's in my car right now. I feel so strange knowing something huge while she knows nothing at all. I keep my face calm, and I keep walking past her desk. I clock in like it's a normal day, but nothing feels normal to me anymore. I go through my shift, and I smile at my patients like always. I check charts, I give meds, and I help my team like I always do. But inside my chest, I feel a storm brewing. I know the state board has my report now, and Rachel has my files too. I know Sam is waiting on my call, but nobody here knows a single thing. I watch Denise walk by again, and she waves at me like we're friends. I wave back, and I feel my hands go cold. I think, "You've no idea what I know." I hear her tell another nurse, "We're fully staffed, don't worry." I almost laugh, but I catch myself. I knows the exact lie from the email I found. I bite my tongue, and I keep my eyes down. I think about my sister's wedding, and I think about the day they told me no. I think about every small lie they told me for 4 years. I feel my anger rise, but I stay quiet still. I walk to the break room, and I see Priya sitting alone. I want to tell her everything, but I know I can't yet. I just sit with her, and I ask how her day's going. She says, "Fine, I guess," but I see the tiredness in her eyes. I think, "Soon, this will all be different for you too." I finish my shift, and I walk to my car slow. I look back at the hospital lights one more time. I know I'm the only one who sees the storm coming. I know they think tomorrow's just another normal day. I know it won't be. I walk into the boardroom, and I feel every eye turn to me. I hold my folder, and I feel my hands steady now. The investigator stands, and I watch the room go quiet. I mean dead silent, the kind you can feel in your chest. I see Denise sitting there, and I see her face go white. The investigator says, "Weed the email, weed the chart, weed your initials, Denise." I I hear her breath catch and I feel my own heart pound. I look at my folder and I know every page in it matters now. I stand and I say, I saw it too. I saw all it. My voice doesn't shake and I feel proud of that. I show the photo I took that day, the spreadsheet glowing on her screen. I show the email that said, don't share. I watch the board members lean in close. I hear one gasp, soft but real. I feel the weight of 4 years finally land right here. The investigator turns to Denise and says, do you have a response? I watch her open her mouth, but nothing comes out. I feel no joy watching that, just a strange, heavy relief. I think about Priya, and I think about Maria, and I think about my sister's wedding day. I know this moment is for all us, not just me. I see the hospital's lawyer shift in his seat, uncomfortable now. I feel my own posture straighten a little more. I hear the investigator say, this matches federal staffing violations we've tracked for months. I feel my chest loosen, like a rope finally cut free. I look at Denise one more time and don't feel angry anymore, just completely and finally done. I gather my folder and I walk out of that room slow. I hear my own footsteps echo down the hallway. I feel the badge on my chest, lighter than it's felt in years. I know my name is now part of the record, forever tied to the truth. I know Denise will face her own consequences soon, and the hospital's lie is finally out in the open. I sit in my car and I breathe for a long moment. I look at my hands, steady, calm, mine again. I know I did the right thing, even though it cost me everything I built here. I sit in my kitchen and I watch the news break on Monday morning. I see my hospital's name on the screen and I feel my whole body freeze. I texted Sam first and I said, it's out! I can't believe it's really out! My hands shake on my phone, but I feel proud too. I watch Rachel's story spread fast and I see my proof right there for the world. I see comments pouring in and I read every single one. I see nurses from other floors say, I felt this too! I feel less alone than I've ever felt in 4 years. By Wednesday, I check my phone and I see the hospital stock has dropped hard. I feel my stomach twist, but I don't feel guilty. I know I didn't cause this. I know the lies caused this. I see news vans outside the hospital I gave my whole heart to. I see my old coworkers talking to reporters, and I feel my chest tighten. I call Priya, and I ask if she's okay. She says, I'm scared, Kimberly, but I'm glad you did it. I feel my throat go tight hearing that. I watch the board scramble on a live stream that night. I see them dodge questions, and I see their faces sweat under the lights. I know the truth is too big now for them to hide. I feel my phone buzz nonstop with messages from old coworkers. I read each one slow, and I feel something warm build in my chest. Friday comes, and I sit frozen at my kitchen table. I see the headline first on my phone, the CEO resigned. I read it 3 times because I can't believe my own eyes. I feel my hands go cold, then warm, then shaky all over again. I think about Denise, and I think about her boss, and I think about every lie they told me. I know this isn't over yet, but I feel something huge just shifted. I call my husband, and I finally tell her everything. I watch her face change from fear to pride. I feel his hand grip mine tight across the table. I think about my sister's wedding, and I think about the day they told me no. I know now that no meant something so much bigger than I ever understood. I sit there, and I breathe, and I know my whole world just changed forever. I sit at my desk, and my phone rings again. I see unknown number on my screen, and I feel my chest go tight. I pick it up slow, and I hear a smooth voice say, Mr. Kimberly, I'm calling on behalf of the hospital. I know right away this is the settlement call, and I feel my hands go still on my desk. The lawyer says, we want to make this easy for you. I say, okay, I'm listening, and keep my voice flat and calm. I don't give them anything extra to use against me. He says, we can offer you a generous payment today. And I ask, what's the number? He tells me, and I feel my heart skip once. It's a big number, more money than I've ever seen in my life. But I hear the next word, and it changes everything for me. NDA, he says. You'd sign an NDA. You'd stay quiet about Denise, the charts, all it. I feel my jaw tighten, but I keep my tone even. I say, I already gave my statement to the board. He says, this offer disappears if you don't decide today. I feel the pressure in his voice, and I know this trick. I say, I'll have my lawyer call you back. He says, Kimberly, think about your family, while I feel anger rise in my chest, but stay calm. I say, I'm thinking about my family, and every family on my floor. He goes quiet for a second as I hear him breathe, and I know I hit something real. I say, I'm not signing anything today. He says, you're making a mistake, and I say, maybe, but it's my mistake to make. I feel my hands finally relax on the desk as I think about Priya, Maria, and my sister's wedding day. I know money can't buy back those 3 days I lost. I say one last line, slow and clear. I gave that hospital 4 years. I won't give them my silence too. He starts to speak again, but I don't wait to hear it. I close my laptop, soft and slow, then sit there in the quiet. I sit at my new desk and I smell fresh coffee. I open the window and I feel the cool air on my face. I look around my own clinic and I still can't believe it's mine. I built this place with my own 2 hands. I hired my own team and I trust every single one of them. I wanted a place where nurses feel like people, not numbers. I remember the courtroom that day, and I still get chills. I stood there, and I heard the judge say, the hospital broke the law. I felt my whole body go light. I thought about my sister's wedding, and I finally let myself cry. I cried for Priya, I cried for Maria, and I cried for the Kimberly I used to be. I check my calendar now, and I smile every time. I see my sister's name on it, and I see trips, and I see my own life written in there too. I give my staff real time off. I mean real, no guilt, no fear, no fake smile from a manager. I learned what I needed from 4 hard years, and I use it every single day now. I still think about Denise sometimes. I don't feel angry anymore, just calm. I heard she lost her license, and I heard the hospital paid a huge fine. I didn't do it for revenge. I did it for the truth, and I did it for my own peace. I called Jake last week, and I offered him a job. I told him, I want you on my team. He said yes before I even finished the sentence. I called Priya too, and I heard her voice shake with joy. I know I'm building something real this time, brick by brick, day by day. I sit here now, and I sip my coffee slow. I watch the sun come through my window, and I feel proud of my own story. I lost a job, but I found my own voice. I found my own worth. I found the life I actually wanted. If you ever feel small at your job, I want you to hear me. I want you to know your voice matters. I want you to know you can walk through your own fear and build something better. I did it, and I know you can too. I sit here now, and I read the letter one more time. I see my old coworker's name at the top, and I feel my chest go warm. I open it slow because I want to feel every single word. She writes, Kimberly, I saw the news, and I found my own voice too. I read that line twice, and I feel my eyes sting a little. I remember the girl I used to pass in the hallway, quiet and scared. I didn't even know her name back then, just a tired face like mine. She writes, I filed my own report last week. I told the truth about my floor too. I feel my hand shake, but this time it's a good shake. I think about Priya, and I think about Maria, and now I think about her too. I know my one small act just became something so much bigger than me. I remember clocking in, smiling, and telling myself this was normal. I remember Denise saying, you're a hero, and I believed her. I remember thinking overtime was just the price you pay. I didn't know the truth was sitting right under my own badge. Now I read this letter, and I see how far I've come. I see how far we've all come together. She writes, you gave me the courage I didn't know I'd... I feel my throat tight reading that line. I text her back slow, and I write, you did the hard part yourself. I just went first. I mean every word of that. I know speaking up isn't easy. I know the fear she felt because I felt it too. I sit with her letter in my hands, and I feel proud in a new way. Not proud like winning, but proud like healing. I think about my own new clinic, my own new team, my own new life. I think about how one small text from Jake changed my whole night. Now my own story is changing someone else's whole life. I fold her letter, and I put it in my top drawer, right next to my badge. I keep it there so I remember why I did all this. I didn't just save myself that day in the parking lot. I helped open a door for people I hadn't even met yet. I sit back, and I breathe, and I smile at my own life now. I know this fight was never just mine alone. I found the truth, and I finally understood why the truth was worth it. I lost a job, but I gained my own voice back. I gave that hospital 4 years of silence, and I got my honesty back in one day. The truth cost me my badge, but it gave me my life. I learned something big through all this. The pain of speaking up is small next to the pain of staying quiet forever. I know now, deep in my chest, if you're sitting on your own secret right now, I see you. I know how scared you feel, and that you think you're the only one who's seen it, but you're not. I felt that same fear in my car that night. My hands shook, just like yours, probably shake right now. I told myself I'd lose everything, and for a while, I did feel like I lost it all. But I found something better on the other side, my own worth. I found people who trusted me because I trusted myself first. You don't have to be brave every single day because I wasn't. I was scared in that parking lot and calling Sam. I was scared hitting submit on that report. But I did it scared, and you can do it scared too. You don't need to feel ready. I wasn't ready either. I just knew I couldn't unsee what I saw, and maybe you can't unsee your own truth right now. I want you to know your secret has weight, and carrying it alone will wear you down slow. I carried mine for weeks, and it nearly broke me. The day I let it go, I felt lighter than I'd felt in years. You deserve that same relief. You deserve to sleep through the night again, as I do now, even though I never thought I'd. I'm not telling you to blow up your whole life tomorrow. I'm telling you the truth has a way of finding daylight eventually. Leave a comment, and like this video. Subscribe!